Can I fix a car? No. Can I do any of those kind of thing a guy would do? The answer is no. Every 3 months or whatever. He said, you got to check. Not me. You do it, okay? I'll pay you to do it. Because I wasn't exposed to it. Whereas a guy who came up and in high school was able, his father taught him how to put oil in the car and when to put water in it, that kind of stuff. Never had that experience, never had to do it. I don't feel proud about it because every time but Addie guy, you can't do so and so and so. No. This is embarrassing with this car. I driving it, all of a sudden, I mean, the thermometer is. So I drive it over to the mechanic. I said, this thing is smoke. Says, Mr. Hartley, you haven't put any feed in or whatever. I said, oh, really? Oh, God. It's so embarrassing. I said, really? I said, yeah, I said, you need coolant. Then how? If you go to my car, I got coolant in the back of the trunk.
I was born here, in the same area, and my father and mother came from Saint-Barth. My grandfather and grandmother came from France, and they migrated in Saint-Barth. And then my father came here when he was a year old, and my mother came when she was 13 years old. And she was 16 when she got married. And she had 10 kids who was alive, and she lost 5. That's 15 of us. So that was a big family.
About around the field, that's what you call in the area of Bogsholm, close to Lanaraba Stadium, St. Thomas, 9/30/26. Well, my grandfather, I think he was from Macaris or Santo Domingo. My mother, she is from here, she was from St. Thomas. Her mother's name is Elsa Eulalie Del Turo. My father's name was Leonard Bonelli, and he was also local, but about 2 to 3 months after I was born, he relocated to the States, and I never heard or never saw him until on my 26th anniversary of my birth.
I was born in Roosevelt in the night. I was born in St. John's. My father went to the play, and he brought me in here. They carried me up to St. John's in my mother's belly. And there I was born. And when I came out this beautiful girl.
New York, dear, New York. I was born in 1924, dear. I'm 94. What I can tell you about my father, my mother, is that what you want? Well, they came here first, dear. They came here. My father came out of Puerto Rico, where he had a big rum distillery which he sold to Bacardi rum, and one day flew over here, met the governor at the time was Judge Hasty, I believe, and Judge Moore, Governor Hasty, I believe. It was as much as I can remember now. It was clearer years ago.
The one day the police come here, that's all I do is laugh at that poor kid. I had a coconut tree right there. So he climbed the coconut tree. And he got to tell me, just send him to go pick the coconuts. I said, now whose job? The mighty jar. I said, well, I don't know, the mighty jar, I got one in the kitchen. She said, no, the mighty jar. Come to find out, his father, he left from Bordeaux to come here, 14 years old. Well, the police went with him. They locked him up that day. 2 weeks later, This other one came from Bordeaux. I had a cage here on the wall. So this guy from St. Croix asked me if I wanted to put his rooster from a big fighting rooster he had. If I wanted to leave it in the cage until he comes from Puerto Rico, because we're leaving to go to Puerto Rico for a couple of hours. He had a call down there. I told him, okay. I said, well, here's the lock. Lock it and and go with the key. So he did that. This kid gonna come and tell me, the rooster fly from Bordeaux. I said, excuse me? He said, that rooster is mine. I said, look, you find your little self right back down those stairs, or you're gonna roll them down. He said, no, 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 no. That's my rooster. I didn't continue leave him arguing. I went to call the police. So when the policewoman, up and now, every time she see me, I know with a flying rooster. She said the rooster fly from Bordeaux and come get locked up in the cage. So she asked him where the keys was. I don't know where I put them. But the guy came in at the same time from Puerto Rico. So I said, officer, I said, that's the gentleman that owned the rooster. He said, what's the story behind it? I said, the story behind it, this kid's going to tell me he let the rooster fly from Bordeaux. That man only hold his stomach and he started to laugh. And he laughed. I said, well, it's not how his name. It's just that he provoked me about the rooster. He said, this rooster is mine. He's a 5-year champion. So he said, that's not your name. I said, unless he had jet fuel in his behind, that he could apply from Bordeaux to come get locked up in the kitchen. He said, I don't believe that kid. So the police went with him. Come to find out his father was a police officer. His father locked him up for 3 days in jail. He said, you want to go and harass this woman? You're going to get harassed right in this place. He locked him up for 3 days in jail. He said, I'm going to teach you not to go and leave from the house and then go to somebody else's house to provoke them. So.
We used to have at Christmas time, the group of people come there with music and they go to a scratch band, they play. Sometimes 5 hours for you and they leave, they get drink, they look mostly looking for guava berry, rum, and afterward they go to the next house. Sometimes they stay the whole night, they traveling house to house. But now these days, you don't see nobody. Christmas come like anything else.
I said, we're going to have a Christmas tree to my husband. Now, to put it inside, nobody would see it. There's no place in here because the winds. So I said, it's going right here in the dining room against that pole. I kept it, my husband said, honey, it's going to go down. I said, no. As soon as did I say that, bang, down went the tree. I said, okay, that's it, we'll just decorate. So we decorated the sconces here on the wall behind me. You know, we put, Christmas wreaths and all of candles, and that was the most they could decorate. Oh, we had all the lights outside, strung.
I think my father actually at one point did a little run in a contraband in baskets and whatnot for people connected with Taiwan Seed and whatnot, business, prohibition, right? So there were probably some favors due, and he set aside a good chunk of that money for this man from that family. And that's when my mother really grabbed what she could get out of it, which I guess was the other third. And she was able to go and bid for that property. There were families like the De La Garde and, people from the older Hottentot, the
those French or earlier French people here, I'm not talking about the French people so much, from, you know, because there have been several layers of French people in St. Thomas, as you know, right? There were some older ones that were up in that hillside, De la Garde and the Francois and the French, you know, and so on and so forth. And up at the top of that hill was a famous Jenny Lockard. She was from the Lockard family, a real ruffian of a woman who didn't care what she said to whoever. And so she had the chance to say that she didn't know she would see the day when people like them would be living up there closer, meaning us, right? Because my mother was able to get a property by bidding against the famous Conrad. Conrad was the man for Criterion Grocery. Conrad was the guy who claimed that he was 99.5% white. I don't know if you know about it. He put up a building down there by the library that he couldn't even use because he had apparently broken the laws. No 3-story building was allowed and whatnot. That building is still there basically.
We grew out mostly out in the yard. It was not much house things in those days. And the games we'd play, like everything was rock. Like my first doll was a rock, a beautiful shaped rock, and we dressed it with, like, took leaves from the trees and take a piece of tire and tie around the and we keep that rock for as your baby, you know. And after that, we did like playing marbles and things like that. But with 3 brothers, it was kind of rough.
My wife used to go to an old neighbor, friends. We used to go in the afternoon, 4 or 5 of them, to play a la carte. I don't know what it is myself. And also, you know, they play, what is the one name? Old people with the calash and the pipe.
To get a little toy, we never knew what mean toy, but when you don't eat them big sardine can, we used to have a stick thing and we walk, drag it all over and go. If we have and we used to have to make a little cart, 2-wheel in front and 2-wheel in the back. And we used to, no road to run, we just run, make it, and we ride to get one person to ride in, and the other one push you around where the clear place is. Rough. But it was fun anyway.
Yeah, you play marbles. You ever play 3-hole? Man, you don't know what you've been missing. People walk around with pockets of marbles, right? You lose some, you win some, that kind of thing. Pew! Oh yeah, we play that spinning top. Putting a pulley in the top and break your top. You try to break my... You know, all the basic things, you know, back then that we really involved ourselves with. It wasn't a situation where you got a Sears and Roebuck catalog. You weren't rich enough to say, Mom, I want this one, I want that bicycle, and you can't afford it. So the little things, you catapult. You ever seen those?
She used to sit down in one place where she could look at the one class on this side and the other one on that side.
Brothers, your sister.
My place was water. And when I was born, Mother had to come up a narrow street. And she had to get me home. When she looked at the wet, when I go up on St. John, she had to get me home. I had to run home, run up, look out of the water.